What's going on, guys? So this is the new monitor that I've been using for the past couple of weeks with my PS5 Pro. It's the ROG STRIX XG32UCDS. It is a 32-inch 4K QD-OLED monitor. I picked this one up while I was in Micro Center. It had a really good price on it. It was $6.99. Might be cheaper during the holidays. And I figured, I would test it out, and if I didn't like it, I can return it because I have, I think, 14 days from Micro Center to do that. And I ended up liking the monitor though, and so I figured I'd make a video on it. And yeah, so basically, getting right into the settings, you just want to check a couple of things to make sure everything is, functioning properly. You want to make sure that it's showing that the PS5 supports the VRR, and as you can see on all resolutions, it does show that it's supported from 48 Hertz to 120 Hertz. This monitor is a 165 Hertz monitor, but the PlayStation only goes up to 120, so that's why it only shows as it being 120. And then I have everything else turned as automatic. It usually, the ALLM, the VRR, all of that stuff turns on automatically if you put it as automatic. I haven't had any troubles with that, so that's just how I like to keep it. You can adjust your HDR in this section right here. I've already done that, but I just want to show you the menu so you guys can take a look at that as well. You can dial it in a little bit, how bright, how dark it can be. But yeah, that pretty much covers up everything that you need to do on the back end of the PS5. And now we're just going to get into the settings that I like to adjust on the monitor through the toggle button. Alright guys, so here we have the menu options for the monitor. If you look over here, it shows you the resolution. It's at 60 Hertz. I have it on cinema mode, HDMI 1, and console HDR. So if you look at the options right here, this is to turn on the variable refresh rate. And then I'll get to the settings that are kind of blocked off right now, but the next one is going to be Game Plus. This is where you can turn on the FPS counter and the crosshair, things of that sort. I like to turn on the FPS counter just so I can see how the games are running. And this is a widget center, which we don't have any use for. The game visual and the shadow boost, those are useful settings, and the only way you can turn them on is if you turn off HDR on the PS5. So you would have to go back into the settings that I just showed you, turn off all the HDR settings, and then it allows you to access the game. For some reason, when HDR is on, you know how we have console HDR on, you cannot access those settings. They're not hugely important, but if, for example, like the game visual I have it on right now is cinema mode, but by default it comes in as racing mode. It's just one of those presets where like sometimes the image just looks a little more saturated in one setting than the other. It's total preference, but I liked it in cinema mode, so I kept it. That's where I kept it at, and then I turned HDR back on. In terms of the image settings, brightness, I put mine on 100%. It's not the brightest screen, but it looks bright enough at 100%. When you turn on uniform brightness, the monitor gets like more dim. So let me show you. As you can see, it just got kind of like more, I don't know if it really picks up on the camera, but it looks more dim, so I like to keep that turned off so it looks brighter. This is an important setting in my opinion, contrast. Out of the box it comes in at 50, I think, but when you take the contrast and you take the saturation, they both come in at 50. turning those up to like, you know, from, I like mine extra like vibrant, so turning that up to 80 and 70, 80 for the contrast, as you can see right here, and 70 for the saturation, really gave me that like pop that I was looking for from an OLED monitor. If you just leave it at 50, it kind of looks bland actually, but maybe you like more of an accurate color representation, so it's subjective. That's just what I like to do. And then in terms of the anti-flicker, I haven't messed with it. I'm one of those people, I don't really notice the OLED flicker outside of like certain scenarios, but for the most part I never really notice it. These are the different types of HDR modes. I mean, I'm on the PS5, so I keep it at console HDR. I don't really notice a big difference between them, if I'm being completely honest. You can mess around with them. You could, if you're in the business monitor, and you could pick the one that you like. I mean, there's no right or wrong here, I don't believe. So I just like to keep mine at console HDR. And then it really sucks that you have to like get back into the menu instead of just picking up where you left off when you change something. But yeah, and then I have adjustable HDR and dynamic brightness boost turned on. The aspect control, there's no reason to mess around with it. The vivid pixel, I just keep it at 50. I'm not really sure what it does. I've messed around with it. I haven't really noticed much of a difference. The color temp, it's at 6500 Kelvin. Saturation 70, like I said before. The OLED care, this is kind of important. I actually turned all this stuff off right here, the screensaver stuff, because I'm on console right now. Because I'm mainly using this monitor only with my PS5, and I'm gonna be doing more testing with it on the PC, you know, in the coming weeks. But for now, I've been just using it with the PS5, so I haven't really bothered. This is if you want to do the manual pixel cleaning. The pixel cleaning reminder, you do want to come in here and set it as off, because if you leave it as like 2, 4, or 8 hours, this message just keeps appearing kind of like in this corner right here. It's like, do you want to do a pixel clean? Do you want to do it? It keeps popping up, so you just turn it off. This one I have a set in middle. This one I have turned on. I'm not really sure if it does anything, because like, once again, I think this is more of a PC setting. But I have this off as well, the proximity sensor. I guess it turns your monitor off if it detects that you're like a certain distance away. I don't really feel like I need that. And then, as you can see here, here's how many hours I've had the monitor on for, 33 hours. And the pixel cleaning, it does it by itself. Like, I don't know when it does it, but it doesn't do it while you're gaming, that's for sure. I mean, like, because I would have noticed that. But every time I guess I turn the PS5 off, it does like a cleaning. So that's cool. You don't have to really worry too much about it. It just does it in the background for you, and then you don't have to worry about any burning. And then the auto input selection, you know, some shortcut settings and system setup, and that pretty much covers it. So for the last part of the video, I just wanted to share some of my initial thoughts and impressions about the monitor. I'm gonna say overall, I really don't have any complaints to share. It's been a great monitor. As you can see in the background, I got a couple of gameplay footages. 2 of them are utilizing the VRR, the other one is locked to 60. If you can try to watch this footage on like a monitor or a TV, then like you'll be able to see, you know, how clear and, you know, how colorful and how vibrant the monitor is. It just looks really good, you know, for gaming. And in terms of using it for a PC, you know, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but I haven't really been using it on my PC yet. I've mainly just been using it on my PS5, because the monitor is kind of too big for my desk. I don't like the way it feels on the desk for some reason. It feels like it's too in my face. So would have waited out a little bit, see if I could find a different setup that I like so that I could put it on PC. But I can use an extended wire or a DP cable and hook it up and play PC games that way. So that's what I'm probably going to be doing for a little bit as a temporary solution. But for now, once again, I've just been using it on my PS5 Pro. It's been excellent. And to be honest, I don't know if you guys saw my last monitor video that I did, but it was for the MSI monitor. That was a 2K monitor, 2K OLED monitor, and I really like that monitor for the PlayStation as well. But I think I'm gonna, if I have to recommend that one or this one, I would say you definitely want to get this one. Now there is a price difference. That one is gonna be probably, this might be 500 or less during the holidays, or a similar model to that one. And this monitor, I got it for $699, so it's a pretty big price gap. But if you feel like $699 is still within your budget, I would choose this monitor because number one, it's 4K. You know, PlayStation 5, it's basically designed for 4K TVs. So using a 4K monitor, it's pretty much the same thing. You're gonna extract like everything that the PS5 has to offer. That's just kind of how I look at it. There's nothing wrong with going with a 2K monitor, especially if it's, you know, substantially cheaper. Like, the visual quality is still really good on that one. I still use that monitor as my main PC monitor. I love it, but I think that monitor works more well for the PC because it's 240 hertz. It's a little smaller, so if you have a smaller desk, it might be a better fit, and you'll still get like really good clarity in your higher frames. Whereas the PS5, you're basically locked to 60 hertz or less sometimes, and then like 120 for the higher frame games. And this monitor caps out at 165, so you're not leaving a bunch of performance on the table with like a 240 hertz or 360 hertz monitor, where you won't be using any of that anyway. So that's just kind of how I look at it. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about the monitor, I'm gonna continue to do more videos on it, probably different games, some updates, and how it works on the PC, things of that sort. But yeah, just leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them, and I hope you guys like the video. Thanks for watching.